But you ain't got the clothes thing? Or do you?
Greetings, everyone. Welcome to Before I Do, the show that shares with you everything that should be done before saying I do. For those of you who are dating, single, don't know if you want to be married, not sure what it exactly is out there, or are inspiring to be married, this is a show for you. Our responsibility, our honor, our job is to facilitate courageous conversations on dating and relationships.
Absolutely. And this show is meant to be interactive. So we will be asking questions. We want to know what you think. We want to know your experiences. We want to know and have an exchange with you. So please feel free when we pose those questions to share your experience, share your thoughts into our chat area.
All right. Well, we have entered into one of the most wonderful times
Of the year.
It's my favorite.
Yay.
It's my favorite time of year. It's the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
It's the temperature is starting to dip down a little bit, and we're getting into the holiday, festive, celebratory time of the year. So a lot of family gatherings and things of that nature.
Yes,
we're actually on the road right now as we speak.
Are. I mean, we're on location.
Yes.
You know, we're in an environment where we have the fragrances, the essence of the holidays. We have, you know, the I don't know. We just have all the smells, you know, from food, you know, being prepped, you know, all of the traffic in the kitchen, aluminum foil, you know, pans, those aluminum pans. Those are all signs that, you know, some wonderful things are happening. Some beauty, bliss, all of those things are coming unto you. The blessings are about to just overtake you.
I just caught it.
Evidence. Catch it.
So tonight's show is called Seasons Meetings, How to Avoid a Hostile Holiday. So with this being the holiday season, this is the time where a lot of couples will utilize that time to introduce their partner to their family, their foundational family, their foundational culture. And so it does sound like a great idea in theory.
Yes.
However, there are some things that you'll want to take into consideration if you are thinking about introducing your partner to your foundational family.
Absolutely. And so today, our show, we want the holidays to be happy, not hostile, right?
Right.
And so there's a couple things that we want to encourage you all to do. It's a wonderful time of year. And again, just definitely, first of all, take your journals out, take some notes, all right? Or if you take some mental moments. The first thing that we want to definitely get, we want to start off with a quote. And this quote says, even though it can feel like a stressful experience when your partner invites you to meet their family for the holidays, it's likely a milestone in your relationship. The holidays are a time for us to celebrate family, friends, love, and by including you in their celebration. So this is a time for you to enjoy. For many, the holiday celebrates the life, love, personal goals, and but when you're interacting with your partner's family, guess what? Anxiety can kick in. There can be that moment where you kind of hear I don't know if you've ever watched the movie Jaws, when it's like that, where the shark is coming, right? And yes. Your heart starts racing, right? Because somebody dropped that question at the dinner table that you never thought was going to come, because like, who really asked that question, right? So there are things that happen during these encounters where you run into the family member that has no filter, or you run into the family member who they're really going to test you. They're going to test to see, are you really this person that you're pretending to be in front of us? Or is this your representative, or is this a true representation of who you are? So family and gatherings on both sides can provide some anxiety.
Absolutely. So as we talk about the family gatherings, we want to start with our Speak Now question of the night, number one, which is, what are good, not good table conversation topics for family gatherings? So what are some things that you think are appropriate and are great discussions at the family table during the holidays? And what are some topics that you have experienced and seen that have not necessarily been the most ideal?
Come on, weigh in. We want to know your business. So you know, you had that experience at the dinner table or everybody's making their plates, and like, you know, that topic comes up and it's just uncomfortable.
And you know, just because it's spirited or it's controversial or there may be some, some really heavy debate. That doesn't make it a bad question. What makes it a bad question is when it takes that atmosphere and it becomes contentious and combative, because there are some really great topics that can provide us the opportunity to really learn from one another. And they're not always comfortable, and they lead us to dialogue where we can really get to know one another and also have the chance to learn from one another. But tonight, again, we're talking about how to create and avoid a divisive environment when it comes to introducing your partner to your foundational family during this holiday season. And so it's important for us to know that when we talk about this particular topic, there are three primary entities that we're talking about.
Yes.
The first entity that we're talking about is you. You, as in the individual that is in the relationship that is introducing your partner to your family. You're the first entity. The second one is your partner, that individual that you are introducing to your family and setting them up for success. And then number three, your family. So the individuals that you are introducing your partner to that are a part of your foundational culture, where you come from. So you got those three entities all confluencing together and figuring out how to set everyone up for success in that situation will really go a long way in helping you to understand and strengthen your relationship.
All right. So we want to hear from you. What have been your experiences, right? What are those topics that are okay to bring up? And what are those topics that you stay away from, and why? We want to know. We want to get in your business. What are those topics not to say?
Nina says, never say you don't believe in Santa Claus, the Easter Bunny, or Tooth Fairy. So,
I got to ring the bell again. My bell is a little tired tonight. That's right. That gets the bell.
So, there are some families where they are very adamant about preserving those type of traditions, because it does promote a sense of wonder and youthfulness in children. That's this whole idea of the fantasy world, preserving the innocence of children. And what over the years, people and generations have come to, you just lying to children. You're purposely lying to them. So that's been this deviation from this whole idea of preserving your child's innocence does not mean lying to them. And so, that is definitely a big one. All right. So we're going to take a really quick commercial break. Once again, our Speak Now question of the night is, what are some good, not good table conversation topics for your holiday gatherings? We're going to take a really quick commercial break, and we'll be right back with more before I do. All right, greetings, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for Before I Do. Tonight, we're talking about seasons meetings, how to avoid a hostile holiday. Talking about those introductions of your partner or significant other to your foundational family, and how to avoid the landmines that are associated with some of the difficulties that take place. How to avoid and navigate the landmines associated with introducing and having your significant other and partner to interact with your mate.
All right, get ready now. Get your notebook, get your journal. We're going to drop some gems and reminders, right, on how to make sure that you are having a happy holiday and not a hostile one.
Absolutely. All right, so we are going to start with you. And again, by you, we're talking about the person that you decided it was a good idea. You decided that your partner had gone through all of the prerequisites in order to be introduced and indoctrinated into meeting your foundational family.
First of all, I need to say that now, notice he said they have already gone through the prerequisites. So hopefully this wasn't just an impulsive, impromptu.
Please don't let it be.
Take you by my mama and my grandmama and them house for you to meet them.
No.
We're going to need you to really think this through. So hopefully there were some prerequisites, okay? And so now you're at a place, I think they're ready to meet my family.
And to be clear about that, no one can tell you when that is.
Exactly.
We can't tell you. Someone may ask the question, well, when should I introduce my significant other or my partner to my family? Only you know that. Only you can say when exactly that is. But we do encourage you to think through when you do it.
Yes.
Don't just haphazardly do it. Don't just introduce we're old school. So there was a time where you just didn't introduce everybody that you were involved with to your family. You know, it had to be somebody that was
a graduation. That was a promotion.
Yeah, that's a whole nother level. Some folks still mad that I introduced to my family. But I digress. All right. So again, we're talking to the individuals that are introducing their partner to their family. What you need to know. Number one, you want to share the preview, not the profile about your family. Ring the bell, please.
Oh, wow.
You want to share the preview, not the profile about your family. Here's what we mean by that. So with the individuals in your family, we know that there are some folk in your family that they have certain behaviors or characteristics and things that your partner may need to be aware of.
Right.
But we also want to create space and opportunity for authenticity of them to experience those family members and how they respond to them. How do they interact and how are they going to really connect with the individuals in your family? Because not every interaction is going to be comfortable.
Absolutely.
And you don't want it to be. So you want to see how your partner interacts with some of these people in your family. What are the conversations like? How are they able to really interact with them and observing them and getting feedback from your family member on that?
Absolutely. And, I just want to just dig a little deeper in that one because, again, when we talk about sharing just a preview, these are just small little bullet points about the family. For example, you have intel about your family. And if you know that the family is going through a sensitive season, maybe you have a couple, maybe a sister and a brother-in-law, or a brother and a sister-in-law in your family, maybe they just experienced the loss of a child. So maybe they're grieving, right? And so, but maybe, your partner is really, really adamant about, pro-choice or pro-life or whatever, right? And so, I don't know, just letting them know that, hey, we're dealing with a very sensitive time in the family. We experienced the loss of a child. So topics about, pro-life, pro-choice, that's really probably going to be a very sensitive subject. So, so we might want to stay away from topics about, children and the vulnerability of that. And so those things kind of help, just a small preview. You don't have to tell everybody's business.
Right.
But it's just saying, hey, our family really experienced a loss of a child. And so we're really sensitive in areas regarding children.
Right. So not those full intimate details yet, but definitely providing them a preview of who's who and some of those really obvious characteristics about individuals that they absolutely need to know.
Absolutely. Number 2. So again, what do you need to know? So number 2 is determine who should correct family misbehavior. Again, who should correct? Now, this is unique to each and every couple. And I'm just going to share our personal journey in that area. For us, we manage our own family. So, and we actually had this occur when we were earlier in our dating life, where there was a family member who, they commented on.
They got out of pocket.
They were talking about my man weight. Okay. And I was looking, and this was a family member who was an elder. I looked up to this person and
that had some weight on them themselves.
Exactly, right? How you gonna call my man out for, having some weight on him? And like, do you have a mirror or a friend, right? But of course you can't say that to your elder. So it was a situation where I definitely had to correct her and was like, this, unacceptable. And like, I'm not gonna stand for that. And the family member kind of looked at me like, oh, and for those of you who are transitioning between being a child and young adult, like you're between the age of 18 and 25, this is important because sometimes your elders still see you as a child and you have to remind them of the boundaries and appropriate behavior. So again, number 2 is very powerful in the sense that you in your relationship, you have to decide who's going to manage your family's misbehavior. So that our relationship, I manage my family. I check them if they get out of pocket, and he leads the charge on if his mom, sister, uncle, someone does or says something that's very inappropriate and offensive. He takes the lead on how he's going to make those corrections.
The other thing that it does is, as Charmaine mentioned, I think it does an excellent job of allowing that family member to experience you in an adult-like way,
Yes.
especially when they may have known you from childhood, is that it also helps to protect your relationship with that family member and helps them to keep from getting off of not on good terms with your partner. So rather than your partner having to defend themselves, you have a rapport with that family member, and so there's obviously a connection there as well that helps you to guard against that disruption in the relationship.
Now, some couples, they choose to do the opposite. Some couples, if it's female to female, they prefer to do gender, female to female, male to male, like allow allow the men to men deal with the issues, women to women deal with the issues. But I will tell you this, sometimes I don't know what the family member's intention. Some of them are genuine, some of them are not so genuine. And so in that case, you don't have like in a situation with ours, if he would have said something rude or disrespectful in response to that comment, now it's like, oh, you're gonna allow him to talk to your auntie like that,
right?
So now it's a blood is thicker than water situation, and so you have to be very mindful about that. Now the family member gets to deflect. So now instead of owning their behavior and taking responsibility, now they get to deflect and come back to me and say, oh, this is how you're gonna let you've been knowing him 3 months, and now you're gonna let him disrespect your aunt who knew you when you was just a baby. So we have to be mindful about those kind of power struggles, and again, really talk that through with your partner about who manages and handles your family's misbehavior.
All right, number 3 on what you need to know. Number 3 is share your partner's dietary restrictions in advance. Now, this is for the benefit of not only your partner, but also for your family. As far as when food is being prepared, obviously individuals come from different backgrounds. Not everyone eats the same, observes the same type of culinary palate. For example, with Charmaine and I, a number of years ago, we stopped eating pork. And that was to our family a huge shift and shock to them. Our daughter now is a vegetarian. And so we actually have to make provision for her when we have holidays to make sure that she has what she needs. And that's something that as she begins to date and interact, that she's going to have to plan and prepare for. What it allows is it prevents that awkward moment where your partner comes in and everybody's passing the food around and they're just kind of sitting there and it's like, I don't eat that, I don't eat that, I don't eat that. And now there are judgments being made in addition to this whole idea of, well, you don't like my cooking, but it helps to mitigate that process before it even starts. So by the time your partner comes to the table, it's already been communicated what those parameters are.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like a rejection of our culture. It reminds me of the movie My Big Fat Greek Wedding, where the main character in the first movie, she was dating a gentleman who
was vegetarian,
right? But again, culturally, like,
they were big meat. Were big
meat eaters. You'll love my lamb, and he's like, but I don't eat meat. Like, they didn't even understand what a vegetarian was. And now in our culture, in our society, where we have vegetarians, we have vegans, we have pescatarians, we have all of these Aryans, that we need all of these different, dietary restrictions, gluten-free, and all these things. We want to make sure we set our family and our partners up for success.
All right. And speaking of setting our partners up for success, we're going into how to set our partner up for success. So number 1.
So what our partners need to know, don't focus on being liked, focus on being real.
Let me ring the bell on that one myself. Absolutely.
Again, don't focus on being liked, focus on being real and authentic. That is important. Again, I think people can smell that a mile away when you just seem so eager to be liked.
Right.
It is almost, at this point, it's like now, and I don't know, it's a lot of you out there right now, let's be honest. When people come over and they're about to meet the family, you can just tell when people are just trying too hard, right? When they're trying to be liked, when they need that affirmation, they crave it, they want it. It's almost like an addiction in the season, right? And so it's important for you not to focus on being liked. We've mentioned this in a previous show. Focus on being real and authentic, because you'll find yourself getting into kind of becoming a chameleon. I'm just saying this because, that got me a good response.
Right.
Oh, if I say this, grandma smiled, I think she likes me. So you're focusing on other people's responses instead of who you are and what you bring to the table.
And we want to encourage you as the partner to resist the urge to feel like you have to impress your partner's family in order for it to ensure that your relationship with your significant other is going to continue, because that isn't necessarily what the introduction of the foundational family is actually about. What it's about is you getting the opportunity to understand more of your partner's background and where they come from. And it is part of a check and balance system for your significant other as well, because it is an important part of them being able to introduce you to the individuals that are a part of their makeup as well. But you want to be careful that you don't allow the fear of trying to impress their family, of feeling like your relationship is being jeopardized if it doesn't go well because you didn't agree with everything that was said, or you didn't say the right thing or do the right things. Now your partner is going to think less of you.
Absolutely.
It's so important that you walk into and out of that situation being your authentic self.
Absolutely.
All right. So number 2, what you as the partner need to know. Be mindful of your attire. I mean, just please be careful of, think about where you're going and who you're going to be around. Now, again, we just said everything we said about being real and being your authentic self.
Don't cancel us.
Yeah,
Don't
exactly.
cancel us. We're shameless out of love.
But just be careful. Just think through what it is you are going to wear when you are meeting your significant other's family for the first time.
And ask some questions.
Yes.
Ask some questions so that you can be comfortable as well. For example, temperature might be important to know. Okay, we're going to, we're going to grandma's house, or we're going to my great grandmother's house. Does great grandmother run her air conditioning? Are you one where you perspire, and because grandma is not going to turn on the AC?
Not at all. Not unless you help paying the bill.
Okay.
Not unless you help pay the light bill.
Yeah. All right. And are we gonna sit on that sofa at grandma's house that is real low?
Got the plastic on it.
It got the plastic on it. You're already sweating, and it's real low to the ground. Yeah. So that mini skirt may not be the best idea. Yeah. Because you are holding on for dear life to try to keep your legs crossed, be cute, it's high, and you got the plastic on the furniture. Now we're not judging grandma now, because all grandmas, don't fit this shape. But this is an extreme moment. But definitely, you want to think about how to dress for temperature, for convenience. If it's a small home environment and you're going to be around a lot of people, I don't know. Do you wear a lot of perfume? And I don't know. There's just a lot of things to go into it. But think about are there going to be a lot of children around? Is this where you wear the real sexy, skimpy, tight dress?
Yeah, I mean, fashion is an extension of your personality, but there are various sides and aspects of your personality as well. So you just want to be very mindful of the expression and what you are communicating that you want this family to take away from their interaction with you. So
what do you need?
Very mindful of that.
Yeah. What do you need to be comfortable?
All right. Number 3.
All right. So be cautious of. I love this one, y'all. Be cautious of those surprise proposals and pregnancy announcements. Now, I'm just going to tell the truth on this one, okay? You know who gave us this tip? Our daughter.
Our 19-year-old daughter.
She says, this is not a Hallmark movie. Now, you may not get the end result you want, okay? If you surprise, you didn't tell your parents, you didn't tell your siblings, you didn't run this past anybody. Okay. So when you surprise people with big announcements like, surprise, we got married last month.
And then you get mad that it doesn't go well.
Exactly. Or surprise, we're having another baby, and everybody looking like
I'm not babysitting.
Exactly. Because I'm already babysitting for you a lot for the other 3 you have in the other room. So just be mindful of the surprise proposals, and you ask yourself, what is your family culture? Is your announcement really going to take away from the celebration of us? Or some families, this is a time where they're okay with that, but you want to put a soft filler out there.
Yeah, and bear in mind, again, we're talking about the partner. So this is the individual that is essentially an outsider to that particular family.
Yes.
So you're taking the initiative to have some surprise or something that you're just going to spring on your partner's family, which can put your partner in a really challenging, uncomfortable situation with having to either explain this to their family, having to do damage control, because again, a lot of the weight and the ramifications of that decision is not going to be bared by you, but it's going to be bared by your by your significant other, who actually that is a part of their foundation.
Oh, the backlash will definitely come back on you,
because it will be eventually. But the point is that, again, if I'm surprising your family, you're gonna hear it first, and you definitely gonna make sure that I get it.
That's true, but you always remember the person that kind of brought some very shocking news or bad news. I remember the face of the person who told me when Prince died. And I'm just telling you, like, I just will always remember the face of that person. And so when you surprise people with very shocking news, and you're not even a part of their family, they're going to always remember that moment. And then they might start to question your intentions. Was this a power play? And then again, well, he's not going to tell them I'm pregnant, so I'm going to tell him I'm pregnant. I'm just going to show up at his house during dinner because, he asked, I'm not a side piece. I'm going to okay. So just be mindful and cautious of those surprise things, because they may not end the way that you want them to end.
In the words of the contemporary street people, that's not going to go the way you think it's going to go. It's not going to go the way you think it's going to go.
Who did you quote?
I heard that from JB. Shout out to JB, James Hillsman. All right. So we've talked about you. We talked about the partner. Now we're getting ready to get into the family.
Come on.
Listen, please. You are part of a family, please listen to these 3 suggestions so that you can help out your loved ones. Number 1, share your observances on your significant other's partner with discretion and consideration. So yes, give your honest feedback. Yes, give the things you see. If you see something, say something, but make sure that you do it with love, with tact, with discretion, with consideration of your loved one, of your family member. Don't just go off about the partner in front of everybody, or in front of your loved one, because what that does is it actually convolutes and it makes it hard for people to really be able to receive the information that you're sharing, because it was done in a way that now there are all of these other distractions and things that are really tied to it.
Well, you become the distraction.
Right.
Now I'm more focused on how, I'm not even listening to what you said, because of how you said it, when you said it, and now why I think you said it, your intentions. So when he talks about tact is knowing the right words to say, meaning knowing what to say, your tone, your timing, all of those things are very important.
Absolutely. All right. Number 2.
If you're a family member, come on, family. If you sit in the family member seat, right, and your loved one is bringing their partner, number 2, being antagonistic isn't helpful to anyone. So if you're the one on the sofa narrating, like, oh my gosh, girl, do you see it? Like, and you can definitely add to that.
Sure.
But you want to be positive. We all have to create the atmosphere and environment that we want to see. So if we're going for a happy holiday, then you need to come happy. Be a leader in being happy.
Can I keep it real?
Keep it real.
So this is going to be a keep it real moment. So some of you in your family, remember we talked about at the very beginning that there are certain members in your family, like this is the individual who likes drinking. This is the individual that you need to keep an eye on when it comes to they go outside and come back smelling like something.
Okay.
Some of y'all just mean. I'm just gonna spit it out. Some of y'all just mean. Some of y'all just angry. That's who you are. We're not telling you not to be who you are.
Right.
What we're saying is that oftentimes when people bring their significant other or their partner around, they will intentionally, like family members will intentionally go out of their way to be antagonistic to that person, almost like they're hazing, like they're pledging, like trying to make them uncomfortable to see if they can handle being a part of this family. And what we're saying is that is not going to be helpful to them, nor is it going to be helpful to your family member as well. All that does is that paints a picture that makes it seem like you're not wanted here, or showing your family member that we don't want you, we don't support or want you to be with this person. And they end up making the decision that may not necessarily align with what you want them to do. But the point is, you want everyone that comes that your family member brings to introduce to the family to experience the family in a genuine and authentic way. There's no need to put them through a hazing process. There's no need to there's no need to do anything that is outside who you all normally are to see if they're going to fit and be a part of the family. Just let it be organic and let it be natural. So we talked about this whole hazing aspect, right? And this whole idea of setting up things specifically to see if that person will fit into the family. Remember this, and this is the last point for you family members. You can't choose your family, but you can choose your tribe. You can't choose your family, but you can choose your tribe. You cannot control the family you were born into, but you can definitely control who speaks into your relationship. You can definitely control who you allow in your house. You will remember the individuals that spoke into your relationship, and you'll be mindful of who you bring around your children as it relates to the people that are a part of your village, if you can decide to go on and continue with that relationship. So again, this is not playing the role so that you can speak into or be a part of, but what this is about being honest, being tactful, being loving, communicating in such a way that you show your family member that you support them. You may not agree with their decision, but you're going to be open and honest with them to make sure that they're able to make a good informed choice based on why you brought them around to be around the family.
And I can tell you just personal experience, our personal story. Again, we are relationship coaches, marriage counselors. One thing that I will tell you, and that we encourage even all of our clients who have a spiritual foundation, and that is how you lead and govern your life. Again, when you're asking yourself, who's a part of my tribe, right? There's different people in your life that definitely represent a different level of success when it comes to family, when it comes to relationships. And so one thing for us is we ask ourselves, when I'm having an issue in my relationship or we're having challenges, who is going to point me back to God? Because God, that's one of the founding principles of our marital relationship and our individual relationships. And so who's going to point us back to God? And pretty much who's going to point me back to my partner, right? Not the person who, no, man, I told you she was horrible. Walter, you should just walk out on her. Charmaine, Walter, he doesn't appreciate you. You just need to drop him. Like, who's going to point me back to God? And then who's going to point me back to my marriage and doing the work to build that up, restoring it in every season and cycle that it goes through. This time of year, hear us, Couples Academy family, hear us, everyone listening. This time of year, the emotional weight of the holidays, everyone sometimes wears the mask of a smile. But deep down inside, this is one of the most heavy emotional moments in the year, November, December, and January. Mental health and wellness is at an all-time high. Our phones ring. People need sessions, but sometimes they don't come to the sessions. They go to the bottle. They go to things that are not going to build them up. And so your words matter. You coming around the family with good intentions, it matters. So I'm going to ask everyone, before you go over to your holiday and you're fellowshipping with your family members, do not allow the weight of your pain to be dumped, right, on your family members. If anything, ask them, say, you know what, I need help, I need support, I need a hug. Can I have a hug from my family members? Well, I've been struggling with some things, but can y'all just, reach out to your family for support. Let's not just get together and it only be about eating food together, smiling together. And I really count on, I'm really chasing this high of being around my family, but with robbing our families of the opportunity to really support us. So have a happy holiday, but allow it to be one where your family, again, love on them. You come and bring those positive intentions, those words, those and those expressions of love, and allow your family to love on you. Let them know what you need. If you need a hug, if you need prayer, if you just really need some encouragement, or I just really need to watch this funny movie with you today, let them know.
Yeah,
and enjoy your holiday.
Yep, let's speak love and life to one another. Thank you all so much for tuning in to Before I Do. Be sure to book us for a session.
Yes.
Visit us on couplesacademy.com, and Charmaine and I are available for individual and couple sessions, and we would love to speak with you in your individual and collective or relationship journey. And so in the meantime, on behalf of the Couples Academy, my name is Walter Jennings.
My name is Charmaine Jennings.
And we wish you a happy holiday. We look forward to seeing y'all at the same time next week. Thank y'all for tuning in to another episode of
Before I Do.
Good night, everybody.
Welcome to the Couples Academy app. The Couples Academy app is your go-to hub for how to do marriage right. Get started with our app today by perusing our amazing features that conveniently allow you to connect. This app is packed with powerful content and resources to help you grow and stay connected. With this app, you can watch our messages, find marriage resources, watch, listen, and read the real-life stories of restored couples, sign up for events, read articles and blog posts, stay up to date with push notifications, share your favorite messages via Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, or email, and download messages for offline listening. For more information about the Couples Academy app, go to couplesacademy.org.